Welcome back. All right, so Detroit Red Wings. This is a team that is still in the process of their rebuild, but the improvement has started to show, and we're starting to see how good these young kids are, like Soderblom. These guys, good young players. Raymond, a bit of a sophomore slump for him. I don't think it's anything to be overly concerned about. And then there's Sider, who was having a tough time earlier in the season, but he's been much better lately. He's not on the board here, but again, I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. And there's Edvinsson on his way. There's a lot of good players yet to make their debut, and you've also got a guy like Berggren coming in and looking quite good out of the gate. So their overall record's 21-19-8, which is showing that they're good. They're not winning enough, but they're good, and they're still in the hunt, which is saying a lot considering where they were not that long ago. Their highest ranking on the power rankings, 14th. Their lowest was 27th. Currently, they're 23rd. They've had a rougher time of it lately. Their playoff odds are listed at 1.3% on MoneyPuck.com. And I do not see them going on a run to make the playoffs, but I mean it's a team run by Yzerman, right? Why doesn't he just strap on a pair of skates and go? If there's a player from the past that could come back and do it, Yzerman to me is one of the guys. So, first 10 games of the season, they were 5-3-2. Through 20 games, they were 11-5-4. Through 30 games, 13-11-6. Through 40 games, 18-15-7. And since then, 3-4-1. So they went 5 here, 6 here, 2 here, 5 here, 3 here. There's been some mixed results. There's been some encouraging results. They seem to win the games they should. They struggle against some of the better teams, but that's kind of how it's designed to work. They're no longer one of the bottom feeders in the league. They're no longer bottom row every time I do a power rankings. It's happened where they've been in the bottom row, but it's rare. And so it's a gradual climb. I think their MVP this year has been Dylan Larkin. That being said, Ville Husso definitely gets a shout out from me for having quite the season after St. Louis was willing to get rid of him and double down on Binnington, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that things would have been better if they'd kept Husso, except that I do think Husso at this point is a better option than Greiss. That's just my opinion, only, solely. Their top scorers, Larkin leads the way with 15 goals, 28 assists for 43 points. I've always said, and this has been misunderstood, that Larkin's a good player, and that when this team is ready to go, when Detroit is ready to be a contender, he will likely be on the second line. This is not to say that he's not a premier player, just that when this team is a contender, you're going to have two really solid lines, and probably that superstar on that first line would not be Larkin. Kubalik, 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points for him. Kubalik has been a great addition. I still don't understand some of the decisions Chicago made last offseason, Kubalik being one of them. I understand they're tanking, I get it, but it's not like Kubalik's old or anything. Anyways, Hronik, 7 goals, 26 assists, 33 points. He's had a fantastic year. Raymond, 15 goals, 17 assists, 32 points. I talked about how I don't think he's going to have any struggles beyond this year or anything. Perron, 14 goals, 16 assists, 30 points. He's been quite the spark plug for them and a solid veteran addition. And I would look for Detroit to be in the market for maybe a big name in the offseason. They're going to have room to make that work. So while there's some panicked about Larkin hasn't signed a contract, what if he leaves? I wouldn't worry. It's Steve Yzerman. If Larkin were to leave, it would only be because he's asking for more money than Yzerman thinks is wise. And then he has that money to go out and spend on free agents or make deals. He'll have cap space to make deals. Cap space is gold. The tandem in net, currently, Husso and Hellberg. So Nedeljkovic gets buried in the minors. Nedeljkovic was not having a good season, and I've seen Detroit fans saying, well, the defense left him hung out to dry. I'm not going to argue they didn't, but he was not having a very good year. Larkin is a UFA this summer, of course, so's Tyler Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi has trouble staying healthy, so I would think that would bring down the overall value of his next contract. He may end up staying in Detroit. He may leave. Again, with Yzerman in charge, I don't really worry about it. Pius Suter is on an expiring contract, so Sundqvist's been good. I'd be kind of surprised if they don't keep him. Ernie, bottom six forward, reliable. If they want to bring him back, they can. Mata on the blue line could attract some interest. He has been very good for Detroit. Not scoring like he was early in the season, but I think Mata's been good. He's not a scoring defenseman, so I was more surprised that he was scoring than I am that he's gone a little colder. Osterley's been decent. Wallman's one that could be a fascinating one if they put on the market. I think he would attract some interest. Haig Haig, of course, more of an extra at this point. If they move him, I don't think they get a ton back with Haig. Hellberg is on an expiring contract. I think it's great that he's finally getting to play, in that he's in his 30s and he's finally getting that chance to play and showing he could be an NHL goaltender. I think it's remarkable how many goaltenders we've seen come in this year that have been either buried in the minors or maybe over in the over in Europe. And when they get a chance to play, we go, "Hey, this guy's not bad. He's all right. He's a good goaltender." I do wonder how many goaltenders right now reside outside the NHL, whether it's in the KHL, European leagues of various varieties, or in the AHL, ECHL, who actually could be decent at the NHL level. Pesek is currently on IR. He's been on IR a lot this year, and no idea if they're going to keep him. And of course, Nedeljkovic, it's an expiring contract. I would expect that to just run its course. And then we'll see whether or not Nedeljkovic gets another chance in the National Hockey League. But it does look like it's Hellberg's net as the backup. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.